Hi, everybody. This is Get Real with Maria and Esther. I'm Maria.
And I'm Esther.
Awesome. I'm an empowerment coach. I'm a writer. I'm someone that really believes in women's empowerment in many different ways, spiritually, physically, emotionally, sexually. And I'm here today talking with the lovely Esther about conscious sexuality and women embodying their sexuality without shame, without fear.
Yeah, absolutely. We both work in very similar areas, I think. I work very much around women becoming empowered in their bodies and their sexualities after experiencing trauma. And that's kind of very similar to what you do, isn't it?
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
That'll be something we talk about in the future, but that's something that's connected Esther and I, and even in her writing, I was really drawn to her openness about trauma, and that's actually like the heart of the work that I do, which is we all face trauma. Especially a lot of women face sexual trauma, 1 out of 3 women, and the way to heal it is by expression and by speaking and by making space for about what really happens in the healing process.
Absolutely, and that's something that's so important to me. Even when I'm uncomfortable with it, I feel like every time I speak about what has happened, I'm taking back my power and I'm taking away the power of those who've tried to control me. Or even if the experiences that I'm talking about are horribly negative, my voice gives them a new kind of strength and gives me a new strength. And I feel like, I get so many emails from people saying, oh my God, like, thank you. That was like, I could never say that. And I'm like, trust me, hun, that was not like, I could not say that either. I like force myself because every time I do, it's like a new level of healing for me.
I love it. And that's exactly what we're doing here today. We're making space for expression about what sexuality is really like, what it's like to be a sexual being, and that it's okay. And by creating dialogue around this, we're hoping that women everywhere are inspired to have these conversations with their friends, with people in their lives, in their writing, and to not be ashamed about who they are, especially in their bodies. Because our relationship to our body really reflects our relationship to each other and to ourselves. And when we feel really good in our bodies and feel really beautiful and alive and just enjoy the sexual beings that we are, our lives like shine. Like it's an amazing how health and even occupational success, everything is so involved in sexuality, how we feel in our bodies.
So much, so much. And I've seen it in so many areas as well. When a woman feels really strong in her body and really strong in her status as a sexual being, when she owns that, she thrives in every single area, in her relationships, in her career, in her personal relationship with herself and her body. Everything just suddenly falls into place,
It's so true. It is so
like
true.
Even like this seems like really strange, but when my sex life is kind of on point, every other area of my life is kind of on point as well. Like when that part of me is nourished, I kind of feel like I'm able to give energy to all of the other areas. My very soul is nourished when my body and my beauty and my sexuality are nourished.
Mm-hmm.
I see it in so many women, and in you, like you just embody that kind of like vibrancy, and it does shine in every single area.
Oh, thank you, sweetheart. Thank you. As do you, babe. I'm really excited to be doing this today. So, we put out a post asking for some questions about what people are really wondering about, what people would really like to hear us talk about regarding our sexuality, and we got one question. Esther, would you like to read that?
Yeah, absolutely. So this question was from Peter, I believe, on Facebook, and he said he believes there is a perception that women are meaner to other women regarding appearance and body shape than men are to other men. And he has witnessed this in the workplace. And he wanted to know, is this perception based on reality? I'm going to say, like, absolutely. And if so, what is the driving behaviour?
That's such a great question.
What is it that drives it? What do you think?
So there's two parts to that. There is this real? And then why are women so critical of each other? So
Yeah.
let's start with that. The first part. Why is this real? Yeah, we were just reading an article about how Brandwatch did this huge survey over like 100,000 tweets and found that the majority of those tweets that had the word whore and slut in them were tweeted by women,
Yes.
like women ranting.
Yeah, and I didn't get a chance to read that article, so you'll know more about it than me. But when I saw those stats, I was horrified, but actually not shocked at all. What do you think of that? What did you get from that?
It's really interesting to me because we often shake our fists at, men, like, don't call her a whore, don't call her a slut, and we think slut shaming is so male-based and that we have to protect ourselves against men, but in reality, it's women that are putting each other down more so than anybody else. And that's actually, it's creating more of the problem because it's allowing more space for this type of treatment to happen. And men are like, well, if women don't respect themselves, well, like, why do I have to respect you? Like, other people call you this and in a derogatory way. Do you want to say a little bit about how you've, like, claimed that word?
Well, I feel like, first of all, I'd like to touch on something you just said, like, women don't respect themselves, so why should we respect them? And that's such a big part of this whole slut-shaming thing. It's like, you don't get to slut-shame unless that woman doesn't respect herself. And if you don't respect yourself, you don't get respect from other people. And this brings on this whole, like, other people getting to define what self-respect is based on their perceptions of sex and body image and how much of your body you get to show. And like if this top was like a centimeter lower, my self-respect would be like a centimeter lower. Like every piece of fabric that I take off is like another layer of self-respect gone.
Woo! No more self-respect.
No more self-respect. And so others don't have to respect me anymore either.
Yes.
We say to men, oh, how dare you call that woman a slut? How dare you call her a whore? Like, only other women get to decide what it means to be a slut and a whore. Like, we get to choose what other women get to do with their bodies and make them deserve those words. Which is just like fuck that noise.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah. And there's just like these arbitrary rules that women create about the workplace and about the appropriate bathing suit. She just had a baby. I can't believe she's revealing all of that. Wow. And like, there's so many judgments that women give towards each other all the time. It's actually very normal. Like, I remember growing up, if I felt good about my body, I actually felt like an outsider. People would say, oh, you don't know what it's like. You have like great breasts or this or that. Like, and I would almost get shamed for being beautiful in many different, environments, church, outside of church, at dance class, my teacher told me to like suck in my butt, to try to always be less. Yes. Like to be like, and I would.
I can't suck my butt.
Suck your butt. Like pull up your butt and like suck in your belly. And I would say like I am tucking it in. I am sucking everything up, but like it didn't matter. And it was just, I grew up having this very keen sense that other women are allowed to comment on me, and I have to be careful to not offend other women. Otherwise, I'll be ostracized, because women in front of the mirror aren't like, oh my God, like, look at my breasts, they're so great. Or like, look at my eyes, like, I'm so great. They're like, oh my God, like, ew, like this and that. And that's not okay. That's not what we have to do.
It's so bizarre, because it's almost like we learn that we aren't allowed to, if we do get given a compliment, we can't accept it, we can't agree. If someone says you are beautiful, we can't go, I know. Like, it's like only other people get to define what we look like, how we feel about what we look like. I had this really, really nice experience early this morning when I was doing my makeup in the mirror. I was putting my foundation on, and I was like, oh wow, I really like myself. Like, and I know, I don't. It's not like I dislike myself usually, like most of the time, but I had like a real. I actually like who I am. I like how I look moment. I was like, I like that I don't, like, I like how I've spiked my hair. I like how I look with my glasses on. I like my necklace. I like my eye makeup. I like that little bit of extra, like, fat underneath my arms. I just had, like, a real I like myself moment. But if someone else were to say, oh, your hair's looking really nice today, do you know what my reaction would be? Ugh, like, I cut it myself, and it took me, like, 10 minutes. I've done a really bad job. I need to get it back. Or, oh, your makeup, oh, no, God, like, I literally spent 5 minutes in the mirror. I look like a mess. Like, I've been so taught that I can't just be fuck yeah, I'm sexy today. I'm fucking hot today.
Oh, my gosh. That's just, like hearing another woman say that, you have no idea. Like, I feel like something in me is released, and it's okay to be okay. Like, it's okay to feel really beautiful and to feel like, wow, like, I look good and I'm getting attention, or I'm not getting attention, and that's all right. Like, it's not, I think in society, there's this idea that every woman has to blend in and nobody is allowed to be more beautiful than anybody else. That everybody has to look the same. You have to be covered in a certain way. Otherwise, you're going to fall into that other group of the slut, the whore. You're looking for attention. That's all you want. Because our beauty is never defined by how we feel. Like you were saying, it's always defined by how somebody else feels or what somebody else thinks that we should be wearing. I mean, being in this public way, like being this leader and doing the work that I'm doing, I've opened myself up to a lot of feedback regarding a lot of things, but in particularly my body, my sensuality, my sexuality, how I'm portraying it. And it's been very difficult for people close to me, especially women, to kind of see me transition from feeling very insecure about my body, having these rules about what I'm allowed to wear, when, and if it's okay, and just really being in the box to stepping out of that box. Because I think it brings up a lot for a woman, which kind of goes back to our question. Why do women start to get a little like, at someone who's just empowered and in her body and beautiful? And it's because at a very young age, we're not really taught to, like, adore and be like, oh my God, you are so gorgeous. Like, seriously. And you are, Esther. I just want to, like, ooze all over you.
You're like a fucking goddess. Every time I see pictures of you, I'm just like, oh my God. You're like, I'm pretty sure I described you once as, like, a young Clarissa Pinkola.
You did.
Seriously are. Like, you're just purely divinity in, like, a little skin coat.
Oh my God, thank you. I'm just soaking this up. And this is what we need. Like, this interaction is exactly what we need to heal the whole slut shaming, the whole thing.
And then I feel like part of the reason that we have a tendency to kind of shame each other is because possibly a little bit of a kind of protecting each other on some strange level. There is, we have really been taught that, like, you can't age, you can't be too sexual, but you can't, like, cover up completely. Like, there's so many little boxes that we have to fit ourselves into when it comes to appearance as women. And when you see another woman freely kind of expanding outside of those boxes, almost there's a little bit of kind of like, well, why can you do that and I can't? But also, like, don't do that. It's safe in the box. We don't know what will happen to you when you're outside of the box,
Yes.
Like, if I don't tell you this, then someone else will say it.
Yes. You know what? I love that you brought that up. That is really the heart of unresolved, unhealed trauma, which is blaming the victim, saying that women, it's your responsibility to keep men from sinning and men from thinking sexually, because the minute they do, you're putting yourself in danger.
Risk.
Exactly, which is the mindset of literally trauma and being traumatized, that I somehow deserve to be disrespected because of something I was wearing, or because I was beautiful. I made myself a target. For a long time, I felt like I had a scarlet letter on my body because the trauma I experienced was so like horrific on this crazy huge level and impacted so many other people that it was easy for society, my community, to turn against me, like to literally, like if to not be my support anymore and to let me go, because it brings up a lot in people. Beautiful women who are sexualized or abused in any way brings up a lot for other people.
It really does. It really does. And I remember, do you know what? I actually think I've been sexually harassed more when I've been dressing down, dressing comfortably, dressing in hoodies and t-shirts than I have when I've been walking around like this in short shorts with loads of lipstick on. When I was abused, when I was assaulted, I was wearing a hoodie, pair of jeans, pair of Doc Martens, didn't have any makeup on.
Wow.
Like, it doesn't have anything to do with what you wear.
Wow.
These things, unfortunately, currently do happen. And we are not protecting ourselves or other women by shaming the human body, shaming sexuality, shaming, empowering that body confidently and happily. You know,
it's us trying, like, our hearts are pure, like, honey, like, cover up, like, we're at church, or honey, cover up because you're gonna get attention and I don't want you to get hurt because I've been hurt for my sexuality. It's like the heart of it is pure. I don't think it's evil. I don't think it's people trying to hurt each other. But like you said, it doesn't matter. It's like taking the focus off the real problem and putting it back on the victim or back on a woman. This is your responsibility because with your body,
control themselves.
Exactly, your body's a weapon.
Which is completely not true. Men can control themselves. Some people don't control themselves. Some people choose to control other people, but actually there is no situation where a woman deserves to be taken advantage of, to have her choices taken away from her. She couldn't wear or do or say or be anything to earn that. And we need to stop teaching the women around us that there is some kind of circumstance in which she deserves mistreatment.
Yes.
Because it is, the heart of it is fear.
Totally.
I'm pretty sure my mother has warned me from wearing certain things at certain times. Pretty sure my friends have. I've probably said things like that to my friends.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, we perpetuate that too. Because we bond not only over like putting a woman down and being like, oh my god, like she is just, what is she wearing? Like, oh my, we women bond over that, but we also bond over like you said, that having that heart of fear about ourselves and trying to protect ourselves and trying to protect other people. But when we give men the responsibility of their actions, like that is freedom. That is where health and good relationship takes place, when a man is fully responsible for what he says. And we have to stop policing our thoughts. So there's this Christian sort of like puritanical mindset that if you think anything sexual at all, you are sinning and you better really watch yourself because you could go to hell and you're going to hurt people. No, thoughts are beautiful things, and sexuality is actually really beautiful in itself. When we stop demonizing it, putting it in this evil little box, I guarantee you acts of abuse are not going to be happening as much. Rape, all of that's not going to be happening because we're going to be able to be open about our sexuality, about our thoughts, about our feelings, instead of hiding it, because whatever we repress, it like explodes. It's like, whatever I'm not allowed to do and people say is bad and I'm wrong, and whatever that is, it's like people get obsessed with it. So that's why we have a lot of our problems with abuse and with rape and everything in that realm, is because of that over fascination, because no one's allowed to talk about the body. No one's allowed to be in the body and without serious judgment.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's the thing, you know, the more we talk about it, the more we speak out and we speak about sex, we speak about consent, we speak about what we want, what we desire, what we don't want and don't desire, the more that box gets opened up, and the more that those kind of confined parameters of what can and can't be done and said get shattered, and that kind of explosion that you were talking about is dissolved, because that's what openness and communication do. Yes. In every area, you know?
I love that. And that's exactly what we're doing now. And that brings up a good point. So what else can we do? So we understand that women slut shame each other and have a lot of judgment. You know, I remember I went to the gym, like, it was like a couple months ago, and I walked in, and there was this woman lifting weights, and she had these gorgeous, huge, round breasts and lots of cleavage, and I immediately thought, what is she trying to pull? I was like, what is she trying to get away with? And I was like, like, I held my chest, and I was like, oh my God, I'm what I hate, you know what I mean? Like, that comes up in me still, and it's like, part of me healing this in the world is by recognizing. Really?
I just flew into the window.
That's just all part of this. That was planned of our podcast. What was I saying? Oh, I have to really recognize, what am I contributing? How are my judgments playing out? When I look at women, am I, I want to keep looking until I can stop hating her for being beautiful. It's I want to be able to keep looking at her and then, and just love her and just, shine beauty at her and be like, damn, you be working out at the gym and you look hot. Please do that. Don't stop. That's awesome. Bring that out in the world. And I think that
feeling of kind of looking at women and going,
yes,
that feeling is always coming from something that we feel about ourselves.
Yes.
Something we feel like we aren't able to do or aren't able to embrace in ourselves, you know. And I think every time that I kind of judge another woman's body, it's because I'm not feeling good about mine. I can't feel I feel like I can't do that with mine.
Totally.
Every single time. You know?
Yeah, it's a jealousy. Who is she to be free? And that's scary. And what does that mean for me? And yeah, so this is part of our.
Why does she get to dress in a way where she might be trying to provoke attention? Why is she? Who is she to feel like she is allowed to seduce with her body? That's another thing. That's another thing. There's the side of the kind of be careful not to accidentally seduce. But what if actually that is what the woman wants? You know?
Right. The Seductress, I love that. Let's talk about that next time, because that's such a profound topic. So what we can do is really examine ourselves when we start to feel judgment and hatred towards women for any reason, to really look within and be like, wow, what is this bringing up? What do I need to heal? And light. I want to shine light and love, both places, bam, just calling in the light and making space for that. What else do you think we can do to create more of a unity around our bodies and our beauty instead of that separation, jealous thing?
I feel like this is a slightly less spiritual way of looking at things, but at some point there has to be a kind of social cull where you really look at the people that you have around you and you say, right, maybe you've spoken with them about this, maybe you said, you know, I don't like it when we talk about women like this, or I don't like it when you talk about me like this. But if they are bringing that kind of energy into your space, making you feel a certain way about yourself, what do they really contribute to your life? And is it worth having those feelings? Is it worth having that energy there? You know, I don't think I have one person who would shame me about my body in my life now, but a few years back it was totally different. But I've gradually kind of partially by doing what you said, by saying what is this bringing up in me, and by being strong and by calling people out when they shame other women, I've gradually just kind of filtered my friendship circle and my social circle.
I love
to
it.
only have people who are kind of really kind of strong and empowered and positive.
Yeah. I want to offer too, I think it's also our job to transform our world. So, like, for me, I would cut people out or not stop talking to people and, like, write people off when they said certain things. And part of me sometimes still wants to do that, like, F you, whatever, I don't need you, I'll find other people. But I've noticed, like, the world needs our voice. Like, the world needs the transform, empowered, enlightened, whole woman voice. So, and before, when I would be very scared, maybe be manipulated or hurt or manipulate someone else, I'm learning and trying to really just stand in my power and be in my voice and say, look, like, I get that you don't want me to wear that dress, but it's really not up to you. And we're not going to discuss what I wear at all from this moment forward. Like, having those conversations is tough because it's taking this inner power that I never had to use. But it's so freeing, and people respect that. Like you said, like, people get attracted. The right people become attracted to that energy.
Absolutely. Like you said, when you shine, and when you stand in yourself and say, no, actually, this is me. And it's not like saying, fuck you, go away, but it's like, no. This is me.
Yeah.
And you can take it or leave it, because I'm not moving.
I love that. Oh, I got goosebumps. That's so powerful. Well, thank you, sweetheart. This has been really wonderful. You just blow me away with, like, everything about you, and it's such an honor to be talking to you, and I can't wait to do another episode with you soon.
Absolutely. It's been absolutely gorgeous talking to you, and you're just fabulous and beautiful, and yeah, I'm so looking forward to doing this again.
Me too. All right, thank you guys for tuning in. We'll be talking to you soon. Mwah.
Bye.